essentially telling us to take this with a pinch of salt. In fact, he puts this in a way that has been captured by the Daily Post. Good morning, and I hope you're well.
Good morning, sir, and good morning to your cherished viewers and listeners. It's rather unfortunate that precious time will be, as it were, I don't know whether to say spent or wasted on this completely frivolous and absurd rates. So now let me say something. Listen, when the Supreme Court or when the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court is invoked, the consequences are very grievous. Very grievous. Because when the Supreme Court original jurisdiction is invoked and orders are made pursuant to that, if you disobey it, it is a ground for your the president billions and grave the consequences are.
Like, you're on the line. Hello? Well, I think, Eric, please call him back. Because, Lawyer, his line is quite bad. We'll get back in touch with him and continue the conversation with him. I hadn't even asked him a question, but he seems quite unhappy. In fact, the Daily Post report, as the report of the Daily Post is that he is saying, go back to law school for your school fees. School fees. Edudzi advises Kuranchie over his comical suits against JM. So the ultimate target of what he's doing is to restrain the former president from contesting in the next election. I hope this time it will be better because we lost you at some point, the quality of the line. But thank you very much for joining us once again.
Good morning.
Yes. And you were making the point about the implications of revoking the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court.
Yes.
As in this case.
The implications are very grave. It is not something to be toyed with. In fact, in some jurisdictions, they have what they call a sieving system. Right? A sieving system that allows you to sieve even before it gets to the Supreme Court because of how the consequences are. And remember that a decision of the Supreme Court binds everyone. I mean everyone, no matter who you are. You see, that said, the Supreme Court's original jurisdiction, right, like I've alluded to earlier, because of its consequences, it is not something that you easily just invoke for fun. This particular one that has been invoked by Mr. Kuranchie is just for fantasy and misadventure.
Fantasy and misadventure.
Completely.
But he's clear in his mind as to the articles that apply.
Please. Are there not a lot of mad people walking the streets? Are they not?
Yes, that is true. But what is the link in this case?
Listen, the Supreme Court jurisdiction, as we often say, is bifurcated. Interpret and enforce. It's a very unique jurisdiction. So it has never been a jurisdiction to interpret idiocy. It has never been a jurisdiction to interpret and enforce idiocy. The manner in which Kuranchie is proceeding. And he says, Senna, I am not in the mood as it were, encourage any idiotic misadventure. No. What are the issues? What are the issues? So now, do you have your constitution by you?
I do.
Go to Article 60. Article 60, 60.
Yeah. That title, the vice president in succession to the presidency.
Fantastic. So go to Article 65. What is there?
The vice president shall, before commencing to perform the functions of vice president, take and subscribe the oath of allegiance and the vice presidential oath set out in the second schedule to this constitution.
Was John Mahama a vice president?
Yes, he was.
Was John Mahama a vice president?
Yes, he was. 2008, 2012, I
Go
believe.
to Article 66.
Okay. And it says, whenever the president dies, resigns, or is removed from office, the vice president shall assume office.
So take your time. Whenever
the president dies, resigns, or is removed from office, the vice president shall assume office as president for the unexpired term of office of the president with effect from the date of death, resignation, or removal of the president.
So in the case of John Mahama, somewhere 24th July, his boss, the president, died. Correct?
Yes.
So somewhere the same night, he was sworn in as the president. Correct?
That's correct.
So we are dealing with the unexpired term. Correct?
Yeah.
How much or how many more months was left in Prosamio's Sena? July, August, September, October, November, December. Correct? Barely 5 months. Now go to Article 67.
Okay. It's 67 says, where the unexpired term served by the vice president under clause 6.
Where the unexpired term served by the vice president is, continue.
Okay. Where the unexpired term served by the vice president under clause 6 of this article exceeds half the term of a president, the vice president is subsequently only eligible to serve one full term as president.
So by the time the respected, distinguished professor of law, Professor Mills, died, he had done half of his term. Correct?
Yes, he had 5 months left.
So in that case, what does the Constitution say? It says, assuming that the president had died, maybe in his first year, and you are taking over, because it is not more than half of his term, you are only eligible to one term of your own. Correct?
Yes.
Is that not what is in black and white?
Yes, in the Constitution as read.
No, it says where the unexpired term is not more than half, and in this case, just 5 months, you are entitled to 2 full terms of your own. Correct?
Yeah.
Is that not what the Constitution says?
Yes.
Was that not the basis why GM could contest in 2016? So where from this foolishness?
Now, his argument is that once he's in office, he can contest for a second term. But once he's left office, he's not qualified.
Madness?
Without the approval of Parliament.
And in any case, where from this claim of approval by Parliament? Where from this claim? Is John Mahama an employee of Parliament?
He says he's a ward of Parliament.
Listen. It is always a difficulty to run into the mind of a madman because they live in a different reality. See how we are all struggling to make sense of what? Look, Senna, respectfully and with respect to your listeners. Article 62, 1 and 2. What does it say? Article 62, 1 and 2. 68, sorry, 1 and 2. What does it say? Go there and read. So already from 65, 6, and 7, it is clear that the vice president is entitled to 2/10 of his own. So let's move on to Article 68. Then are you on the
So
line?
this is Article 68,
Yes.
1. And I think the heading for Article 68 is Conditions of Office of President. 68.1 says the president shall not, while he continues in office as president, hold any other office of profit or emolument, whether private or public, and whether directly or indirectly, or hold the office of chancellor or head of any university in Ghana.
Even before we come there, let's go to that 68. Let's look at Article 62, 1 and 2, and let's see.
62. Okay.
1. 62, 1.
62, 1. Actually, 62 is qualification of president.
So that is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Qualification. So
Yeah.
read.
It says the person shall not be qualified for election as the president of Ghana unless 62A, he is a citizen of Ghana by birth. B, he has
Mahama not.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He has attained the age of 40 years.
Is John Mahama not 63 going?
And C, he is a person who is otherwise qualified to be elected a member of parliament.
Was he not an MP proud to becoming? Proceed.
And then it says that except that the disqualification set out in paragraph C, D, and E of clause 2 of Article 94 of this Constitution shall not be removed in respect of any such person by a presidential pardon or by the lapse of time as provided for in clause 5 of that article.
So if you look, the Supreme Court had occasion to proceed on this matter when a woman by name Rosemary Ekwam brought a writ at the Supreme Court against Kuranchie, MPP, and the Attorney General prior to the 1996 MPP presidential primaries. Because at that time, Kuranchie had decided to contest for the MPP primaries. And this woman decided to go to the Supreme Court for interpretation. Why? Because during the PNDC era, if you recall, Kuranchie had been convicted for treason.
Ghana's Gold. Radio
Right?
Gold.
And therefore, the 10 years had not elapsed prior to 96. So the woman went to the court. And the Supreme Court said, these disqualification grounds apply to Kuranchie, having been convicted. His argument was that he was trying to, quote unquote, remove a military government. And so it should not come with any disability. In any case, it is not a constitutional government. It is a military government. The court said a conviction is a conviction. Right? So, the said constitutional provision that I've made you to go through, none of them, in any case, John Mahama has been president of Ghana. Correct.
Yes. So.
Yes, away from this foolishness. Look, a man sat down. Listen carefully. And that is why I was telling you that it is difficult to enter the mind of a mad person. See, a man sat down and created misunderstanding in his own mind. And out of the misunderstanding that he's created in his own mind, he had proceeded to court that help me deconstruct the misunderstanding I have created in my own mind. Sana, can you imagine the venture he is encouraging all of us into? That is why I said, look, this whole thing is about fantasy and misadventure. It's about a man who had decided to jump from the 8th floor of a story building, believing that he will not die. What kind of help can you give this man? Change him.
So essentially, because there's the argument of 68-2, where he's saying the former president is a ward of parliament. That 68-2 mandates him to seek the approval of parliament before going ahead with any such venture.
Read 68-2.
It says the president shall not, on leaving office as president, hold any office of profit or emolument except with the permission of parliament in any establishment, either directly or indirectly, other than that of the state.
Can you imagine that? And Kuranchie says that John Mahama, being the flag bearer of NDC, is holding an office of emolument. You see the madness I just told you about. You see the madness I just told you about. Is NDC a profit-making organization? Political parties registered are not profit-making organizations. So you see the madness he had created in his own mind. And he has invited all of us to examine this madness. You see, the constitutional provision that you have read is Mahama an employee of NDC? By the of having been elected as flag bearer, is the flag bearer one of emolument?
It's not an office of profit.
Is it an office of profit? Do you know an office of profit? What is this? Senna, is it an office of profit? Being the flag bearer of a political party is not an office of profit or emolument. Senna, you see in the beginning, I warned you. I told you that you are going to make an inquiry into the mind of a mad person. I told you, I warned you.
But be that as it may, you admit yourself there's no sieve at the Supreme Court. So there's a sieve. You said there's no sieve. There's nothing that will bar him from being heard.
No, but that's why. But first of all, you see, if he's a lay person, I won't have a problem with it. This is a man who has spent almost 9 years at the law school. What did he learn? Because you see, when you come out of the law school, we call each other learned friends, correct?
Yes.
You are supposed to, on the face of it, demonstrate a certain quote-unquote learnedness or that is why I've remarked somewhere that, look, the disgrace of his law lectures are too much. He possibly may have to go back for his school fees. What is it?
Ghana's Gold. Radio Gold.
Let's be serious in this country. Look, Senna, let me tell you something. The issues about elections have destroyed notable countries. Ivory Coast had a prime minister by name Alassane Ouattara. You know where he is today? Senna, are you on the line?
Yes. I think he's the president, right? Yeah.
Fantastic. You know that at a point when he was the prime minister and he fell out with the powers that be, from nowhere he was declared as a Burkinabe. Do you know the consequence of that action in Ivory Coast? As we speak, Senegal is in a turmoil because of the decision by a judge to put one of the opposition candidates or something, either in prison or something. Look, some frivolous matter. Look, we need to be serious about democracy. We need to be serious. Do you know the consequence? Like I told you earlier, even when you are a sitting president and the judgment of the Supreme Court is delivered against you and you disobey it, it is even grounds for your removal. Grounds for your removal. It is no joke. It is not something to talk with. You can't wake up out of fantasy, out of delusion. Yeah, I'm going to court. Where from this delusional invitation? Where from it?
Well, having listened to you, it shouldn't be a problem to deal with this matter, should it? If it goes before the Supreme Court and he's heard, you believe in a strong case that can be made in favor of the former president.
So now I want you to go and defend this action at the Supreme Court. Because today...
I am not a lawyer.
No, you don't need that. Why? He who issued the writ, he issued it in his personal capacity. And today you, Senna, you have demonstrated remarkable knowledge of our Constitution.
I've said nothing. You've been the one arguing.
You see?
I have not said anything. You are the one who's been arguing. I've just served as your... I've just been reading for you.
And in each one of them, you have reasoned so beautifully. You have demonstrated remarkable scholarship, at least in your reading and understanding. And like seriously, Senna.
Thank you for speaking to us this morning.
You know, my people will say, "Father, way." Eh?
Thank you for speaking to us this morning, Lawyer.
Hello, Senna. Movie to this year to control Kobe. I wonder. Look at it.
No, that's not fair, Lawyer. Not fair at all. In fact, you've even gone to the point of likening him to a madman, which I don't think is fair.
You see, you are not appreciating the consequence. Okay, so let me ask you, Senna, excuse me. If you see a man holding a bomb, walking closer to you, what would you do?
I'll run away.
Would you wait and reason with the person?
No, of course I'll escape.
Why?
Like you say a bomb.
Why?
I want to save my life.
Why won't you wait and reason with the person?
No. The man is holding a bomb. There's nothing to reason with.
I mean, so you see, how much more to see a madman holding a gun towards you? Would you want to reason with the person? Senna, would you say, "Oh, madman, wait. Oh, what are your concerns? Your concerns be addressed. Or is there any way?" Would you want to do that?
Are you suggesting that he should have known better? Or he should know better?
It's a man who had gone through law school. A man who had gone through law school.
But does it not also present an opportunity for us to perhaps deal with this matter and prevent any such misadventure in the future?
Are you saying that it is an opportunity for you to demonstrate your negotiation skills. So why not wait and negotiate with a madman?
But be that as may, whatever it is, you have this matter will come before the Supreme Court. There has to be representation, and there has to be responses. It looks like there's no choice, is there?
The Supreme Court on its own, Shomotu, should be able to take this thing in limit.
They have the power to do that.
What lawyers do is to provide assistance. In fact, there is a case, I think PC appeal for you or something. The lawyers or the attorney general even agreed with the plaintiff that his interpretation of the law is proper. The Supreme Court said, no, we are not taking any of those. We are not taking any of those. And took time and disagreed with both the plaintiff and the lawyers from the city who had even agreed. Let's be serious in this country.
Thank you, and have a wonderful day.
Have a blessed and fruitful day. My regards to your able producers.
Okay. They have heard you. Thank you. Lawyer Edudzi Tamekloe is a private legal practitioner, and